Welcome to our few minutes together on the Parsha. This week we have the privilege of reading Parshas Tetzaveh, which talks mainly about the garments at the beginning of the Sedra, the garments of the Kohen Gadol. Amongst the four special golden garments, the four garments being, of course, the choshen, the breastplate, the ephod, the apron, the me'il, the tunic, and the tzitz, which is the golden mitre that he wore on his head. I'd like to focus for a moment on the me'il. The Torah tells us that the me'il, and I'll show you a picture just to give an idea. Here's a picture of the me'il and what it looked like according to an artist's depiction. The me'il was a blue cloak with a fringe on the bottom, which had alternating pomegranates and bells. The pomegranates and bells, of course, were artificial pomegranates and real bells. It was shaped in color and shape of a pomegranate, and in between every two pomegranates was a bell, and in between every two bells was a pomegranate, symbolic of many, many things. Of course, we know that a pomegranate, average pomegranate, has 613 seeds, which is reminiscent of the 613 commandments. The Torah talks about this cloak that the Kohen Gadol wore, and in Perek Chav Perek Chav Ches, in Pasuk Lamed Hey, it says, "V'haya al Aharon l'shares." This me'il, this cloak, should be on Aaron as part of the service. V'nishma kolo bevo'o el hakodesh lifnei Hashem u'v'tzeiso v'lo yomus. And its voice should be heard when he comes in to do the service before God. So when Aaron was coming in to do the service in the Kodesh, he had to wear this cloak, which had bells, and the bells would ring, and so it would announce Aaron's coming into the Kodesh. I wondered to myself, why did Aaron have to announce his presence coming in to the Kodesh, where the Shulchan, the menorah, and the Mizbeach Hazov was? Why did Aaron have to announce his presence? No one was in there when he was coming in. Only Hashem's divine presence rested there, and God certainly knew that he was coming in. What was the purpose of ringing the bells so that he can announce his presence and the Nishma Kolo Bevo'o El HaKodesh? His presence should be heard when he's coming into the Kodesh. When you analyze it, it's clear that the purpose of the bells and announcing his presence was not so that Hashem should know he's coming. It was so that he himself should know that he is coming in to this holy spot. And since he is coming in there, he will have the proper thoughts and feelings and carry out his duties with the proper understanding of the awesomeness of the place to which he is entering, and think about his relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu as he enters to fulfill his task as a Kohen Gadol. The Gemara in Pesachim on Kuf Yud Beis tells us that Rabbi Akiva told his son Rabbi Yehoshua 7 things. One of the 7 things that he told his son Yehoshua was, do not enter the house suddenly, but rather announce your presence. Based on this idea, the Rashbam in that Gemara on Kuf Yud Beis in Pesachim quotes a Medrash in Vayikra in Perek Chav Hey, where Rabbi Yochanan would make a noise before he came into the house, because it says in the pasuk, "V'nishma kolo bavo el hakodesh," because Rabbi Yochanan thought to himself, I'm coming into my home. My home is a place of holiness. I want to announce that I'm coming in. And even if nobody was there, he would make a noise, knock on the door, ring the bell, do something to announce his presence, because he wanted to think to himself, I'm coming home to holiness. I have to be prepared to enter my home, which is a Makom Kadosh. This idea that we should know where we are going and know what we're coming into in our own homes to make our homes places of holiness, and also the shul, which is a makom kadosh. We should stand for a moment outside and think to ourselves, to the house of God we're going with a regesh, with a feeling. We should think to ourselves, I'm entering into a place of holiness. I'm about to stand before God. We're like the Kohen Gadol, announcing our presence, coming into the Holy of Holies. So the home and the shul have a very symbiotic relationship. The home is a place of holiness. The shul is a place of holiness. Aaron announced his presence coming in by wearing the bells on the bottom. We think to ourselves the same way Aaron was supposed to think to himself. We're coming into a holy place. Let's treat it with holiness. Let's prepare ourselves to be calm in our home. Let's prepare ourselves to have peace in our home. Let's prepare ourselves to pray in peace in our home. What a beautiful thought about the garments of the Kohen Gadol. Let us fill our lives with the pomegranates, with the 613 commandments, and think to ourselves how the bells that Kohen Gadol rang when he ran in was for his benefit, and so when we come into the home and into the shul, it is also for our benefit. A great Shabbos to all.